Hey everyone, it's Michael with Total Physical Therapy, and in this episode we're discussing the idea of tendon scraping. Now the terminology of scraping is somewhat new, but the idea and the concept is far from new, and in fact has been referred to as soft tissue mobilization or cross friction massage. And while this new terminology has been applied towards tendons, it can in all honesty be applied to any type of superficial tissue of the human body. So let's get into this idea of what it truly means. Now, in years past, what we felt was that this repetitive friction, or rather scraping of the tissue, would remodel collagen layers, and some people would even go as far as to say that we were breaking up scar tissue. Now, what we know with more recent literature is that this is far from the truth. The amount of force that would be required to deform some of these collagens and truly break some of that scar tissue cannot be delivered through simple instrumentation striking the tissues of the body. What is more likely and more consistent to remodel this collagen is pure bodily movement through weight bearing and resisted training. So now that we've got that out of the way and we know that we're not trying to break up scar tissue or remodel the tissue, let's put into perspective what this truly can do. A couple things that it is doing is it's temporarily creating an increased circulation to the area. So increased circulation is going to be productive at helping to stimulate a healing response. Other things that happen are a reduced local sensitivity. In some of these instances, some of the actual tenderness to this tissue is going to be so heightened because of a neurologic response that repetitive movements and scraping to these tissues can help reduce that neural drive and reduce these pain receptors. A final aspect as to what scraping can create is it can improve circulation of stagnant fluid in an area. So in areas where we have some inflammation and possibly edema, we can move some of those fluids out of the region and kind of channel these away from one local area into areas where hopefully this excessive fluid can be reabsorbed into channels that can help get rid of it. Okay, so we know that these scraping techniques are to help fluid movement, to temporarily increase circulation, and to reduce pain sensitivity to any type of tissue of the body. Let's talk about some of the tools that you're going to need. You can quite simply use your hand, although if you are doing this on a consistent basis, your fingers and/or hand and wrist might become overly fatigued, and you could develop problems in your hands, especially if you have complications already with arthritic type of joint pain in the hands. So we suggest instrumentation for the scraping techniques. Now they sell specialized tools, but I will tell you this, that the specialized tools are not so specialized, because you can indeed use common household objects. So some of the examples I have with me here today, a simple ice cream scoop. Okay, the ice cream scoop is going to have a non-abrasive, very blunt ridges. In this case, completely round, not only on the handle, but also on the scoop itself. You could get some leverage by using the handle end and or the actual scoop on your bodily tissues that I'll demonstrate later. Some other examples that I just had readily available: a pizza cutter. No, we're not going to use the cutting edge. That, while is not sharp, it's a little more aggressive than what we're looking for. In this case, we've got a plastic, blunt, non-abrasive handle that we can use. So we can use the handle to roll through the bodily tissues. Other options could be just a simple wooden dowel. This could be something simple like a pen or a pencil, or if you have some art and craft dowels laying around, you could simply use this. What I don't have available here could be a small kitchen roller that you can use to apply the pressure, or a myriad of other things sitting around your house that are non-abrasive, that's going to allow you to get leverage through the instrumentation rather than the leverage through your fingers, wrist, and hand. Now let's take a look at an application of this scraping technique. Okay, so we're going to demonstrate this technique over the patellar tendon. And while the technique has become popular amongst the description of helping with tendon-related problems, as I mentioned earlier, this could be local superficial point tenderness to any number of tissues. For example, muscle bellies. If you had a pulled muscle and you had a lot of local sensitivity, you could use these techniques there as well. But for demonstration purposes, we're going to focus right here on the patellar tendon. As I mentioned previously too, we've got specialized or so-called specialized tools for the job. Don't go out and spend your hard-earned money on some of these. You guys have plenty of options at home for the frequency of which you would be doing this. So as I showed earlier before, we're going to utilize this common household ice cream scoop to get the job done. But before we use our instruments, let's talk about a concept. When we're performing this scraping, what we're trying to do is we're trying to provide a unidirectional force. And what I mean by that, through demonstration right here, I'm with my thumb now pressing down into my tissue and pressing through down towards the foot. I'll let go of that pressure, come back to where I started. I'll apply pressure down, I'll press down and release that pressure. And I'm just going to repeat that process over and over. What I'm not doing is I'm not applying a downward force and rubbing back and forth on a consistent basis. This is what we're trying to avoid when we're doing scraping. We want that little instantaneous moment where we let go of the pressure and come back and repeat that directional force repeatedly. Now it is prudent for you to change that direction. So while I was simply going one direction downward on that tendon, I can also reverse that, place some pressure into the tissue, pull up, let go, and repeat. Pressure, pull, let go. Pressure, pull, let go. And we just repeat that one directional force. Now we've gone up and down. We can also glide left and right. You can go in any number of directions, simply repeating that one direction of force, letting go, and reapplying that process. You can do this directly on dry skin. We'll oftentimes use some lotion as a source to help reduce some of the friction and improve comfort when it comes to applying the technique. So again, using the trusty ice cream scoop, we're going to apply some downward pressure, press, and release. You can even get both hands in the action to further take away pressure from your own hands. We're going to apply that pressure upward. We're going to apply it at an angle. Staying with that same angle, I'm going to apply pressure and pull up. Try another angle. Same angle, just going in the reverse direction. Pressure, press, release. Pressure, press, release. Now we encourage individuals to repeat this process in a number of directions for about a 3 to 5 minute interval. After performing these techniques, we always encourage range of motion exercises. When it comes to the knee can bend and straighten. So we would simply take the knee through some range of motion exercises. I hope you found this video valuable. Again, scraping techniques, not a new idea, an age-old idea, and never a solution independently, rather a piece of the puzzle, often complemented by helping to improve tolerance of physical resisted exercises. Hope you guys found this useful.